welcome to the Kodiak Chat podcast. My name is Clara and I'm here with...
Hello, my name is Shireen.
And this is our final episode of season 1. Season 2 might happen next year, depending on what the CEO team decides next year.
It's finally the end of, technically it's not the end of the quarter yet, but soon. So what are your graduation plans? Are you graduating? Where are you going? What are you doing?
Those are great questions. I am graduating. I'm actually graduating. Well, I'm participating in the graduation ceremony this spring, but I'm taking one class over the summer, which should be fun. I've never taken a summer class before, so that'll be exciting. But yes, I'm graduating, and I'm going on to Central Washington University, getting my bachelor's in science and majoring in food science. What about you, Shireen? Where are you graduating? What are your future plans?
So I'm also graduating. I'm graduating from high school and from Cascadia.
Such an overachiever. So great.
Mm-hmm.
Graduating from high school with a 2-year college degree. Wow. So great.
Sir. Haha. Running start. Anyways, after that, I'm planning on going to UW and doing a biochemistry major.
Wait, I didn't know you got into UW.
Oh yeah, I did. Yay! Yeah.
That's so exciting.
I also applied to Central Washington too. It was like my second choice after. But it was like too far.
It is. I just got an apartment over there.
Ooh, living alone? No.
Well, actually, I got a roommate, and it's another Cascadia student.
Oh,
so I'm excited.
That's so cool. Nice.
It's gonna be lots of fun. What campus are you going? What UW campus?
Going to the Seattle one.
Oh, wow,
yes.
Fancy.
Wow. I also plan to dorm there with like 3 other people, but I still want to stay close to home.
Yeah.
So after we graduate, our job position will become vacant. So
we need you guys to fill it.
Yep. If anyone is even slightly interested in becoming a student leader, they should definitely apply for like CEO and EAB positions, because a lot of people in like our positions are like graduating. So
you get paid to do stuff like this, like what we're doing right now. Mm-hmm. And well, for the CEOs, you get paid to like, if it's in person, do tabling and passing out flyers and making social media content and making posters. Definitely should apply for CEO jobs and EAB jobs as well.
Mm-hmm. They're both really good. Like they're both really like good experience jobs, especially for like students, because it's pretty flexible.
We did a whole live stream on Instagram if you want to check it out. We answered a whole bunch of questions over there. Applications are due June 16th, 2021. So if you're listening to this after that date, the chances are that we've already chosen some people to take the place. But so this is our final episode of the season, and we wanted to make it extra special. So we are so honored to have a special guest, Dr. Murray, Cascadia College President, and he's going to come on and we are going to ask him all sorts of fun questions and you get to know our college president a little bit better. Thank you so much for joining us today. It's so great to have you. We're honored to have you on. This is our season finale episode of the Kodiak Chat podcast. You want to introduce yourself a little bit for maybe the few students that don't know who you are?
Sure. I'm excited to be here. I hope our season ratings go like through the roof today with our season finale. My name is Eric Murray. I am the Cascadia College president and have been doing that for finishing 11 years now.
Wow. That's a long time. You've been doing so many great things for the students here. And speaking about great things that you've been doing for the students at Cascadia, is that you do something really great, and that is involvement with students in events. There was a really great and probably one of my favorite events that EAB did this whole year, which was Dessert with Dr. Murray. We all got to make cookies, and then EAB sent out like us cookie cutters, and it was such a fun event. And any student that wanted to could come and ask questions. That was a really great event. But what is your favorite event that you have participated in or seen student life put on in your 11 years as college president?
You know, the things I really like doing with students and with Cascadia, I mean, obviously I like administrative work and working with the faculty and staff, but when it comes to the students, anything where we can interact together, because my whole life has been about wanting to make sure students succeed. So the cookie demonstration was awesome. I actually ranked that like in the top 5 of the different kinds of things that I've been a part of. Way back in the day, this is all pre-pandemic, we used to have an outdoor spring fest, and I was in the dunk tank one time, and they would throw balls and try to dunk me, and we had a line, and it was so cold that day that they eventually had to get me out of the dunk tank because I was shivering and getting hypothermia. So that was a fun one. When you ever or whoever maybe gets back to campus, we built something called a pluralitry. And what that was, it's a big wooden tree with branches, and you can actually clip any identity markers on it. I am this, I am that. And we wanted to demonstrate to everybody that we are made up of so many different people. And that was a fun project to build and then get the students to write the I am quotes on their leaves and attach it to the tree. So that was kind of a cool one too.
Where is that tree at?
Right now, I've passed by it recently. It is in one of the gathering rooms in, I think, CC1 or CC2 at the moment, and it gets used for different things and passed around, but obviously we haven't had a chance to use it lately. One other thing I have to say, probably my most favorite event is actually graduation. The ceremony itself, when everybody gets to come to campus, there are thousands of people, and we get to be together and dress in our robes and do our thing. And I was actually today on campus filming my graduation speech for this commencement, and I walked through in my robes exactly how the students would have done it if we were in person this year. So those are kind of the cool things.
Yeah, it makes it extra special. Sherry and I just previously, before you joined, we were talking about graduation, and we're both excited to graduate from Cascadia and be Cascadia student grads.
Where are you headed?
I'm headed to Central Washington University.
Ensuring?
I'm headed to University of Washington.
Bothell, Seattle, or Tacoma?
Seattle.
All right. Excellent. I'm glad you both are taking the next step. That's awesome.
Cascadia has done a really great job in providing all the prerequisites I needed. So
yeah, me too.
Well, you need to tell people that. We need more students to come and have that experience. Yeah, the funny thing is, once
one I needed.
What's that?
Every single one I needed.
Good. When we try to tell students how great Cascadia is, they sometimes don't believe us because they think we're just trying to do a sales job. But once you get through the programs and you're on the other side, it's like, wow, that was a great choice. So we have to somehow convince our incoming students of why that's a great choice.
Yeah, that is true. And there's so many opportunities that are like really easy to get involved in. Like starting a club at Cascadia is like so easy. Anyone can do it, all sorts of things.
So I know we just talked about like graduation and stuff, but like for like most of Cascadia students, like it might be their like first college experience. So do you have any like words of advice for people going to college for the first time through Cascadia?
Yeah, I think this applies to Cascadia as well as if you go on to a university as well. But I found that the best way to get my education was actually doing things with my major or my degree or my classes. So I really got to know my faculty members, and one of them took me in and gave me an internship and allowed me to work with them. And that really drove my passion towards my degrees by having that faculty mentor. So one of the things, absolutely, no matter where you're at, is get to know your faculty, because they can open doors to whatever career or wherever you want to head in life. So I think that's absolutely the biggest thing. The second biggest thing, I'll give you 3. The second is just go to class, because half of doing well is just being present. And oftentimes, I was there too. I'm tired, I don't want to go. Or I'll pull out some of my old notebooks from class where I can see my writing, and as I start to fall asleep in a class, the writing falls off the page. But by just being there, I think that's a good thing to do. And then I think, besides getting to know your faculty and being present in class, when you start engaging in extracurricular activities like through student life and student government, it allows you to make more friends, and it makes your experience more meaningful while you're with us. Those are the things that I would recommend.
That's so great. That is such great advice. I wanted to talk about a little bit more about making friends with the faculty and your professors. So huge, especially when you're like in a specific track at Cascadia, you kind of end up with some of the same professors throughout different quarters. And through that, I've been able to like get to know a few professors, and then they're like, hey, if you need any like recommendations, and so it gives you that person to like ask for a recommendation if you're trying to get like a scholarship or something. And then there was something else I was going to mention.
By the way, since we're on the podcast, we don't have a lot of students who ever apply for scholarships. We have so many and so few students who apply. It's almost guaranteed if you apply, you're going to get some money. So I know we've closed for this year, but for any of our students who are coming back next year, we'll be doing something in the fall. And I really want to encourage everybody to apply for money because we have thousands of dollars to give away. Yes. And who doesn't want an extra $1,000, right?
That is so true. Yeah. Apply for scholarships. It's so easy.
And then maybe you can, Claire, you can upgrade your kitchen because, looking at your kitchen behind you, it looks pretty fine.
It is.
We should have been making cookies there. I know it's not probably.
I actually got this background for when we were doing that event. And I know
you did? Yeah, that's awesome.
Okay, so Kody is part of our job as Student Life is to spread Kodiak spirit. We love hanging out with Kody. Kody has been able to film some dancing videos this year. Kody has really just jumped out of their shell to do some fun things.
Yeah.
And we just love hanging out with Kody. It's one of our favorite things as Student Life. But we want to know a little bit more about Kody because I feel like you might know a little bit more than we do, even though our job is to work with Kody. What was the process of creating Kody and the Kodiak spirit? And then how did Kody come up with their name? And Kody is a gender neutral mascot, which is super cool. Just tell us a little bit more about that.
Sure. And I only know about half the story because I've been here 11 years and Cascadia has been in existence for 21 years. And Kody was first developed in the year 2002. So I am guessing that a lot of our listeners weren't even born when Kody was created, birthed, the birther movement. So Cascadia was birthed by the student government at the time. They had a competitive process and they chose. Do you know what one of the runners-up was instead of the Kodiak bear?
I hope it's a crow.
It was a crow. Yeah, exactly. But I guess they went more traditional and they didn't want to just have a bear. So they chose to Kodiak. And the name just fell out of the type of bear from Kodiak to call it Kody. The thing I think I'm most proud of in terms of Kody's history is what happened in 2016. And that is we fully embrace that Kody is gender neutral and uses gender neutral pronouns. And it's one of the things I think I'm proud of with Cascadia is our forward thinking. We want to be inclusive. And Kody is not a him or a her. Kody embraces all of the genders that represent themselves at Cascadia. Him, her, in between, wherever you are. We want Kody to be yours. And we want folks who identify differently to feel welcome at Cascadia. We were really pushing in 2016 to start gender neutral. Actually, we don't call them gender neutral. We call them non-gender bathrooms, gender inclusive bathrooms. Our new building's going to have individual stalls. It's just something that to us is really important. And I'm glad that Kody embraces that.
Actually, it does have an impact on students. We have students message our Student Life Instagram account all the time telling us, one time we posted something and a student noticed that we were using they, them pronouns and messaged us and said like, wow, is this accidental or is this true? And I was like, it's true.
Yeah, it's true.
It's so great to see that students notice that and are happy as well to have a mascot that embraces everyone.
And I've known the mascot underneath the costume. And we have all genders who have represented Kody on our campus and portrayed that Kodiak spirit. Our spirit represents everybody who's there. And so it makes me thrilled that anyone can apply to contribute to Cascadia in that way. And obviously next year, we're going to look for another Kody to replace whoever is on their way out. We never really truly know the identity. And I think that's great.
It is great. Sometimes it changes several times throughout the year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if honestly, if I fit better in the costume, I wouldn't mind being Kody. I've had the head on before, but I've never really been all dressed up in the costume. I would love to do it sometime.
I think maybe next year or maybe this year, but you could probably like do a Kody reel.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that would be odd. That would be a great event. I don't know if you all saw, but I did an orientation video a few years ago welcoming students. And I actually sat and had a little, had a chat with the student body president at that time with the Kody head on. But I would love to have a Kody reel with Kody and I interacting and doing some fun stuff together.
That'd be lots of fun. We'll put that on the list of ideas for next year's CEO team.
Okay, and we have to bring back a cooking demonstration because I love to build, I love to perform, I love to cook. And so anything we can, I always find that activities are more fun when you're invested in them and you like doing the things that we're doing. So I'll do any of that.
So much fun. I still have that recipe. I put it in a little journal actually.
And you can change it. You can add anything you want to that recipe. That's awesome.
Oh God. For that event, I attended the Zoom meeting, but I didn't have the ingredients, and I was kind of too lazy to like bake, so I ended up watching your Zoom meeting while making ramen instead.
Sharing, what a typical college student you are. Oh ramen God. Over sugar cookies.
I was like trying to follow the recipe for like a little bit, but then I started getting confused, so I just gave up at the end. But like I really enjoyed watching you make your cookies and talking about your experience.
Cooking's not for everyone.
I'm actually majoring in food science next year at Central, and one of my classes is just a plain old cooking class, and I'm so excited.
I have been doing a lot more vegan cooking lately, and learning how to cook without dairy has been an interesting challenge. And I also have a friend who doesn't do sugar. So I've been trying to eliminate sugar and dairy. And I made some fantastic cookies the other day that didn't have either of those things in them. And I used he'll eat agave syrup. So agave is a natural form of sugar, and instead of processed sugar. So I used that and almond flour, and there's no butter, and it was really good.
I actually haven't been able to have dairy or sugar or grains for several years now, so I would like that recipe.
I will send it to you. Yeah.
But I use almond flour when I make cookies.
Sure, I'll send it to you after we're done.
Thank you so much. I'm excited.
Can you send it to me too? I'll retry making the cookies.
Sure.
Oh, this is gonna be so exciting. Sherry, did you have one more question?
Oh yes. So going back to graduation, what words would you like to say to students that are graduating or finishing this school year through the pandemic?
Yeah. And
what words do you want to tell future or incoming students?
I thought a lot about this today since I was filming my graduation speech. You know, the pandemic's been an interesting time in all of our lives where our lives have been different. But if you have your degree now from Cascadia, your life is no different than those who graduated last year or 2 years ago. You still have a path ahead of you. And what you have underneath you to support you is that degree, is the fact that you did achieve something at Cascadia, and that will help you on your next step, whether it's university or a job or wherever you're headed. And the pandemic really didn't interrupt that. You still walk away with that degree and that knowledge and those skills. What I hope is that the pandemic learned or helped everyone to learn how to be more flexible, able to pivot and change, how to learn differently, how to do all of these. You probably see them in every single syllabus where you have a class, but to think critically and learn actively and interact in complex environments and communicate with clarity. Those are our 4 learning outcomes. And whether you're doing that in remote mode or in-person mode, pandemic or no pandemic, mask or no mask, you still walk away with that. And that's valuable because you will be a lot farther along in meeting your life goals, having that behind you through your experience at Cascadia. And I don't want people to forget that. I don't want them to think that because of the pandemic, that they got less of an education, they got less of a skill set, they got less of an experience. You didn't. You make the most of that, and you helps you as you move forward. I think those are the things I would really like folks to take away as they leave Cascadia. And then just remember that the things you did at Cascadia, try to replicate that in the rest of your life, no matter when we have difficult times or good times. Does that work?
Yes, that works. That is so important for students to know. What about students that are coming and joining Cascadia or college in general during the pandemic?
Well, that's a good question. So a lot of our students who are going to be with us next year were here during this first year, and obviously we're doing most of their work from home. When they get onto campus, a couple things I want to encourage folks. One is get involved. We've talked about that already.
Get involved.
Yeah, get involved. Right in the ARC, the Activities and Recreation Center, and through the events board and through all the activities, if you make a connection with someone else, that's going to help you in your life, your career, your building of friendships, your finding of a partner. And you can't do that if you stay at home all the time. So I would really like to see people get involved when they step foot on campus. I'd really like people to start developing personal relationships again, because it's hard in the 2D environment versus the 3D environment. And so much of our goodwill and our spirit comes from the energy that other people have in the room with us sometimes. And I think we're going to value that more. So get involved, get to know people, be present with them. Those are the things I think that I would really like to see our returning students and our brand new incoming students really embrace.
That is so great. Well, thank you so much for joining us today for this quick little interview. We loved having you on and talking about all sorts of fun things. And we hope that all the students listening got to know you a little bit more. And so thank you so much for coming.
You're welcome. And I'll send you those recipes.
Yes,
thanks to the two of you for doing this all year. Really appreciate your efforts.
Thank you so much.
All right. Take care.
Bye. Bye. That's so great. We always love having guests on. Dr. Murray is the best. We love having him involved in so much. This is not the first time that he has been willing to do projects like this with us. Last year, he was on his own episode of Kodiak's in Quarantine. And like you mentioned, he's doing events with us. So great. I'm going to ask for a better college president.
Yeah. And he's really quick with his email replies too.
Yeah, that is a skill that we need to have as community engagement officers sometimes, I feel like. But we do have less work hours. So
yeah, that's true.
Thinking about work hours, apply to student life. Applications are opening. Sherry and I will be leaving. Our spots will be vacant if no one applies. And we need people to have fun making content, making reels, making podcasts, talk shows, advertising for events, making Kody's Weekly, getting the word out about what's going on.
Also, like this like the CEO and EAB positions are like perfect like first-time jobs, especially for students. Yes. So like
this was my first job.
If you have not had a job before, like please apply. Like my resume experience.
Yeah, my resume literally said babysitting on it. It was like I didn't even know how to make a resume, and they still just took me under their wing and were like, "Come on, Claire, we'll teach you how to have a job." Yeah. And now I have a full resume just from Cascadia.